This is the Pharmacy Future Leaders podcast, part of the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
Pharmacy Future Leaders is a podcast dedicated to pharmacy students by pharmacy students who are committed to making an impact on our healthcare system and providing optimal patient care as innovative and leading pharmacists. As Pharmacy Future Leaders, we dedicated our lifetime of service to others through the profession of pharmacy.
We will consider the welfare of humanity and relief of suffering as our primary concerns as we apply our knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of our ability to assure optimal outcomes for our patients.
And now, here are your hosts and Pharmacy Future Leaders.
Welcome to the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I'm your co-host, Geily Ward, for the Pharmacy Future Leaders. On today's show, we're talking to Kevin Hejnas, a recent graduate from Rutgers University. Kevin, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
So this might sound a little strange, but I've known about you since my mid-P2 year. I was on YouTube searching for pharmacy school topics, and I found your channel. Listeners, you can follow him on Instagram and subscribe to his YouTube channel at Hejnasty. Am I saying that right?
Hejnasty, either works.
I saw that, and I knew I was going to butcher it. So to start off today, Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel?
Yeah, totally. Well, first off, I don't know how you found some time during P2 year to be on YouTube, because that's a very difficult year. So good that you found the time. But yeah, my YouTube channel, I've been involved with fitness for a long period of time. I'm a big fan of flexible dieting. Back when I was younger, I've always grown up being an overweight kid. So when I learned that you can eat ice cream every day and still look decent by controlling your total calories, I really enjoyed that. And so my YouTube channel is just mainly, it's focused around fitness. But because I was in pharmacy, and all you guys listening, I know many of you are pharmacy students, you all know how rigorous and time demanding that can be. So if you watch some of my YouTube vlogs during my rotation years, you can see that I developed a wake up time schedule that was a little different than most. Some days I would wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning to study before exams because it would be fresh in your mind. Some people like to sleep before, but so it kind of shows people dieting strategies during your schooling and how you can maintain a fit lifestyle while you're taking on such a demanding program. So if you guys want to check it out, it can be very motivating. And also if you want a taste of rotations before you go there, you can check out my rotation series where I took a day in the life, quote unquote. And I just took a camera around and tried to get the permission from my preceptor, so you can get a little taste of that if you'd like.
So it's pretty cool. You have, last I checked, you had 4,900 some subscribers. That's pretty big. I myself tried to do a little fishing channel and that didn't take off, but that's pretty big when you got 4,000 followers. Are you monetizing your channel?
Yes. So I do. I have 4,900 people. It's not as big as many of the really big channels, but I do really enjoy having those people around checking in on me and seeing what I'm up to. I do monetize. I've been on YouTube, I think it's been 2 or 3 years now, and I think my net monetization, my money gains is $100. So this is not my full-time living. Pharmacy is much more lucrative.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's still nice to do it as a student. Did you ever receive any checks from them while in pharmacy school?
Checks from YouTube, or what do you mean by checks?
Yeah, checks from YouTube. Did you get paid for your channel or not during pharmacy school?
So with throughout pharmacy school, it was growing over time. I did do the 20,000 calorie challenge, but the thing that happened there was to monetize, I believe you have to be a partner. And when I first did that 20,000 calorie challenge, I don't believe I was a partner, or I just didn't hit the monetize button. So that probably would have made me a few $100s. Nothing to break the bank, but there would have been something there. But I did not do that, and I didn't really get any money. I think I checked my AdSense is what you're paid through with Google, and I think I checked that once I graduated, and that was at $100 or $130. So that's the whole 2 or 3 years.
Wow. Okay. And how'd you pick up vlogging? Did you just one day say, I want somebody to hear my story, I want to inspire somebody, and just picked it up?
So with that, I've just been a huge YouTube fan for a long time. And I've learned a lot from a lot of people on YouTube, especially with nutrition. So Lane Norton, Matt Ogus, a lot of those people have just taught me about flexible dieting, and it really benefited my lifestyle and my goals. So I thought once I was kind of like doing some things, competing in powerlifting and doing things like that, I thought it'd be cool to document my own journey and try to help others. And so I also thought that I had a little bit of a different story that some people, what I'm learning now is niching down. So we all have like our small space of people that can really align with us. And like a lot of people on this podcast listening are pharmacy students and maybe they want to be fit. So these are exactly the kind of people that I'm looking to help. So that's kind of what got me into it, is kind of giving back, because YouTube has taught me so much. It's given me so much. And I mean, it's also just been very entertaining, especially myself. I've watched probably over 100, 10,000, 20,000 calorie challenges, and then inspired me to do my own. And that is my biggest video by far. And I think it's got like a little over 200,000 views. So people like watching those.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's incredible. So did you do virtual nutrition and lifestyle coaching during pharmacy school, or was this something you did after you graduated?
So that I did start, I believe I started that in, I want to say, 2015 or 2016. And I was doing that throughout. Actually, the kind of running joke, I was also the president and founder of the Rutgers powerlifting team. So I had a few things I was doing on the side. And the running joke is I would just sit in the dining hall. So with meal plans is once you run out of like your swipes, you can like pay to go into the dining hall. So you can pay like $10 for lunch, or you can pay $18 for dinner. Cutoff is I think at like 4 o'clock. So what I would do is I would just go in there after our first class or after the gym at like 8 or 9 a.m. And I would just stay there until 4, 5, 6 p.m. and just do as much work as I can on my laptop with coaching, the powerlifting club, like what needs to be done, handle that. And then what we would also call it, if an exam is within 2 days, we would call it anti-socialing. And I would sit in the corner of the lunchroom with highlighters in my packets, earplugs, and hood up.
That is hilarious. That's awesome. How did you find time to do all of this?
The best advice I can give anyone is wake up early. And during my first semester at Rutgers, at first in high school, I thought I was going to be a D1 javelin thrower throughout high school. But what actually happened when I was applying to schools, I realized I wasn't that great. So I actually joined the crew team. And what we did there, I think our practice started at 6 or 7 in the morning, and it was on a further campus. So had to learn how to wake up early with that. And that kind of just really stuck with me throughout the years. I never minded the 8:40 earliest classes. And then I just took it to extremes over time, waking up at 4, getting to the gym at 5 or 6. And to this day, I wake up at 3:45. So you just get really, really long days if you make the most out of daylight, because how much, to be honest, people may be different, but how much productive time do you have in between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m.?
Yeah, none. Yeah, I can't even study at night. Realistically, I wake up at 5 in the morning like you do when I study in the morning, and then I go to school and come after class. I'm so brain fried that I just get home and go on with life. So I completely understand where you're coming from. And a lot of people don't like it. A lot of my classmates hated early morning classes because they're used to waking up at 10 in the morning. I have a 4-year-old, so sleeping in it's not in my schedule anyway. But yeah, that's super great advice. I just wish I could get to the gym at 4 in the morning.
If I can real quick, I think that is way, way more impressive than anything that I've accomplished. Like having a 4-year-old, raising a kid during pharmacy school, that's something to really be respected. So congrats to you. And it's been crazy, especially P2 year was hard. And that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you, like a pharmacy student who has to study all the time, who has a house to take care of, who has kids to take care of. What do you say to them as a life coach? What advice can you give someone who, like me, it's easier to order out pizza, it's easier to run and get fast food. I fed my child, I'm happy I can study. What advice do you give me? Definitely. And that's a great question for people that are like so busy. This is actually pretty much the place that I niche with my current coaching. I really look to help professionals that have started their careers, busy professionals that work 50, 60, 70, even 80-hour work weeks, because we all don't have 4 hours a day to give to our fitness, our health, and put all of that first. Of course, we would love to, but realistically, we have to make a living. We have to make money to support ourselves. So the best things, and I made a post on this on Instagram recently, there's the 80-20 rule, which I kind of learned recently, and that's what you get 80% of results from 20% of your actions. And I think that is one of the most, that was really, really, when I first heard about that rule, it really made me think about things. And with nutrition and fitness, it speaks volumes. It's very prevalent. So what I would say there is, depending on your goals, the biggest thing comes to if you want to gain or lose weight, especially like body fat, the number one a part of that 20% that gets you the 80% of results is going to be caloric intake. Thermodynamics, which we learn in pharmacy school, that's going to play a factor there. What is fat? It's stored extra energy. So if you can control your caloric intake, then you can see your weight go in the way that you desire. The way that we find our metabolic rate, there are calculators, but I think I see too much variance between individuals with that. So what I would say is today, say you want to get started on your weight loss journey. Say tomorrow, use MyFitnessPal, weigh your food, be accurate about it, aim for 1,400 calories. If you lose weight the next day, then probably stick to it and see whenever you plateau. If you start plateauing, drop to 13. And then over time, you may get to like 1,200, but then to maintain that weight loss, you actually can just bounce back to probably like 1,400 or so. So that's the biggest thing, is caloric intake for weight retention, and even playing with it within a weekly sense. So you can have more calories on this day, you just take them from the next day. Second thing that's really important is protein intake. If you get like 8.8 to 1 gram per pound body weight, that's going to keep you really satiated. And also, if you are training, it's going to help you recover. And what I mean by satiated is it's going to help you feel full for less calories. So those are some of the big things. And then also another way to feel fuller on less calories is eat a lot more vegetables. Right now I'm at the end of a cutting phase. As we would say, I actually did an in-body scan. I got to 6.8% body fat. I would love to go lower for a bodybuilding show, but I'm doing that next year, so I'm just cutting it here. And the things that I've learned is, yes, I eat ice cream every day in this diet, because you can if you control your protein intake, your calories, but also I've relied heavily on vegetable intakes because they are very fibrous, which is very satiating per calorie. And I think yesterday I had 1,100 grams of bean sprouts. So that's like 11 servings of bean sprouts. So vegetables can really keep you full and keep those calories down. So those are the big, big things that I would say.
And would you say meal planning is at the top of that list also?
Meal planning. So this is an interesting one. So what the way that I do my meal planning. So I guess let me go into a little rant on this. So meal planning, meal prepping, I think is a great strategy to adhere to eating quote unquote clean, or making sure you get your vegetables, your protein in. But I think sometimes we can be a little too rigid on that. And if we're only eating rice or brown rice, a vegetable, and that lean meat, it may make our long-term adherence a little less. So fitting in that ice cream or something we really enjoy, if we stick to such a rigid plan, when we do get a taste of that, we're like, oh, I'm off plan, I'm being bad. And then it's like, I need more because tomorrow I have to get right back on it. So that's why flexibility, I think, is very important. If you do a meal plan, kind of prep strategy, I would say save yourself, like maybe if your calories are, again, 1,500 calories a day, maybe do 1,000 calories are within your meal preps, your 3 meals there. But then the last 500, make that flexible. Like you can have your ice cream, you can have something else. The way I personally like to meal plan is I just ensure in my fridge there's always a bunch of either grilled or baked chicken. You just throw some chicken breast in the oven at 350 for 30 to 40 minutes. I just make sure I always have that. So if I do want to make a meal, I can throw that in a Tupperware for later, and then throw rice or whatever carb I'm thinking of, and then a vegetable as well. And because I see, especially with clients, is protein intake is very difficult to meet.
Yeah.
So it's good to have sources there.
So you think it's doable? It's doable for a pharmacy student? Because I always have excuses. And honestly, since I started pharmacy school, I've gained 20 pounds, 20 devastating pounds. It's crazy how the stress eating with the exams and finals come. And it's nice to be in a study room and just munch on chips, but it's horrible. Now I'm in the summer and I'm like, I'm terrified to go to the beach.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. It's because like it is a very stressful thing. And like, think about it. When you're studying, how many calories are you burning? You're just sitting there. And especially if you're like me, I learned with myself, and I've learned this like with anything I do, is I cannot work that well within my own apartment, within my own house, even though I am right here in my house. But I don't work well there because I know if I have readily available food or if the fridge is right there, I'm going to find a reason to like get up, grab a snack. And then because I'm just sitting in studying, and sometimes these study bouts in pharmacy school, you can go like 4, 6, 8 hours straight with a few study breaks, a couple 20,000 calorie challenge videos in between.
YouTube channel, yeah, exactly.
Plug it right here. So with that is just easy, mindless snacking. But I think with that, some good tips there would be with your coffee, which we live on. We pretty much have an IV of coffee going on throughout the year. Pretty much like keep the sweeteners to a minimum, and artificial sweeteners, as far as I've read with the research, they're pretty safe. Aspartame, sucralose, actually stevia is the one with the least amount of research on it so far. But all of them, like none raise major flags unless you eat near the max dose for a prolonged period of time. Your gut flora may change, but we don't know if that's a good or a bad change yet. So with that, reduce the added calories to your coffees, reduce the heavy calorie snacking. I would say carrots. I love carrots.
I love them too.
So yeah.
Hummus.
Yeah. Hummus too. And just finding those low calorie snacks, having celery, and just knowing when you're eating when you're bored or when you're eating when you're actually hungry.
I agree. All right. I think we've talked about the YouTube, but I want to talk about your pharmacy degree. You told me that you're not planning on practicing. So tell me a little about that.
Yeah, so this was an interesting transition phase in my life. So what happened during my last rotation is I've always really had a strong passion for nutrition. I've really loved learning about it. I like competing in national bodybuilding, powerlifting, and a lot of the strength sports, and just fitness has been a large part of my life. And I love teaching people about it. And so I've worked with over, I think, 250 people with my coaching company. And now at that point, I was on pace to make, I was charging very low like rates, so I wasn't like going to make too much that would make like a full-time living for me to like support a family or anything. But at that point, I decided to hire a business coach. And that business coach took my 5-year plan is like I wanted to be making like 6 figures one day from coaching alone, like something like a pharmacist would make. And he really showed me strategies to shortcut that path, like really kind of niche down, work with a smaller client base, but really give them a very hands-on service and really show them that I'm there for them, do one-on-one calls. And that really showed me that hey, I could do this full time, and that made that more realistic to me. But with pharmacy is, I think I've been hearing that our 6-year rotations, those credits are only, I think they last for 2 years that you're eligible to use those and get your licensing exam done. So I definitely want to get my licensing done and always have that there because
as a backup.
Exactly. Always have it. And what I've heard is the exams, the NAPLEX, that one's not too bad, but the law exam is brutal. So I definitely want to get that done, get my license. But if I can do what I'm very, very passionate about, then I would love to continue to do that. And I really do like, in a way, like being my own boss. I really like having to have self-discipline. And I know like at the end of the day, it really it depends on how much time I put into this, how much effort I put into this. That really shows if I can support my family.
And do you foresee yourself maybe in the future incorporating your love for nutrition and pharmacy? We have a podcast on the network. It's called The Fit Pharmacist by Dr. Adam Martin. And he also does the nutrition consulting. And I mean, I've met Dr. Kimmy Schultz. She has it's like a juice bar, but she's a pharmacist. So she incorporates, disease states into helping patients with their diet. Would you see yourself in the future maybe doing something like that, owning your own business in that kind of frame?
That would definitely be a maybe for me. I guess I'll start off in one of my rotations, actually at Dr. Reddy's. I was able to give a presentation on, it was diet strategies for preventing chronic diseases. And there's a lot of really interesting stuff there that we haven't delved too deep into yet. Like ketogenic diets, like I'm not going to say it's the best diet to lose weight, although avoiding carbs is going to make it easy for you to get to a caloric deficit and lose weight. So just lifestyle wise, it helps. But the interesting stuff with ketogenic diets, I'll also say this, they're not the best for athletic performance because carbs are very important there. But it does show some cool evidence that it could help cancers not grow, because cancers do rely on a lot of glucose to help them grow. I think it's called the Warburg effect, and I think I saw that like 70% of tumors have that. So I thought that was very interesting. I learned about that. Ketogenic diseases show great data on some neurodegenerative diseases. So there's a lot of research that I think could grow in that area. So I wouldn't be opposed to really trying to learn that, maybe even doing research in there. But like I also said, I would never powerlift at one point, like 5 years ago, and then I went to 2 consecutive collegiate worlds with my team and helped co-found the team at Rutgers. So I never really know where life is going to take me, but my goal right now is to serve my clients to the best of my ability, help people find their confidence within themselves, because I see when people are able to control and change their body to a beneficial state, it really gives them a confidence that really bleeds into the rest of their life. And they're more confident being around others. They speak up more, and it's really a cool transformation to see. And that's why I'm very fulfilled in what I do. My long-term goal is to own my own gym as well. So that would be really cool, and maybe write a book or 2 if I can sit down and get on that.
And focus long enough.
Yeah, exactly, man.
That's so great. It's so great. What would you tell a student who is in pharmacy school but has a side gig, or their side hustle is their dream, like yours was, to have at the end, and they're thinking that maybe they can't do it because they're up to the neck in loans, or they've committed to doing this, long program? What would you tell them?
I love this question, so thank you for asking that. But yeah, we hear all the time about these side hustles, but a lot of people, some people give up on their side hustle a little too quickly. But I was almost at that state too. Like I was really, really turning my wheels, and like again, I wasn't going to be making something that I could live off of. But sometimes, like, look to mentors, people that are where you want to be. They can really help you like expedite the process getting there, and really teach you the tricks of the trade, and like how you should really set your business to get where you want to be. But also just be the best you can be at what you love. Like if you want to own your own donut shop, learn everything about donuts. Yeah, like learn how to make them fluffy, learn how to make the icing really good, learn the toppings. So just like learn as much as you can, really love your craft. These side hustles, never give up on it, because especially with pharmacy, my goal, like during the 4th and 5th year, like when I was lifestyle planning, and things never go out to plan, but the way I was foreseeing it was pharmacy is one of the beautiful jobs that you can do per diem. Beautiful, and a great side thing to do. Because like you can work at CVS like 20 hours, you can work at a ShopRite for 20 hours, and you can make a pretty good income and still have 20 hours a week.
Absolutely.
Or more to put towards that side hustle.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that, because I feel people are within these 2 lanes, whether it's, either community 100%, hospital 100%. And there's so many avenues that you can take with a PharmD degree. In your case, in the case of Dr. Martin, it's just so many things that you can do that a lot of people don't realize. And since I mentioned the student loans and all that, do you think students, with the stress eating and everything that we do in pharmacy school, the weight gain, that it would be good to advise to look into hiring a life coach?
Yes, I would say that, because I think, so I guess let me phrase it this way. If you want to say you want to be a skateboarder, say you want to skateboard, but like you're an expert.
Hire Tony Hawk.
Yeah, exactly. Buy Tony Hawk and give him $20.
Yeah.
But for real, like if you're like, say you are a pharmacist and you want to learn to skateboard, to skip hours and hours and hours of figuring it out on your own, you're going to pay someone who knows what they're doing to teach you, and then you skipped hours and hours of learning, and now you're just getting better from there. So I think it can be very useful for like a student or just any professional who doesn't know much about nutrition to hire a knowledgeable nutrition coach, get the fundamentals down, get the foundation. So again, when I talked about that 80-20 rule, so once you get those down, playing with the 80% that gets you the last 20%, you can do that for years and really play with that, because that's kind of individual as well. But like when you have someone really teach you what really matters, that's going to help you so much. Like, so I think it can be very useful to just get a strong fundamental knowledge And that's what nutrition coaches can help with.
That's great advice. And how can our listeners hire you?
So I can be hired. You can just slide into my DMs. You can DM me at Hejnasty or Hejnasty. It's just my last name with a T-R.
I said it like that.
Yeah, because it's funny because even when I made it, I saw nasty at it because I had a few friends that really like kind of made cool names out of their actual names. And I was like, all right, this is cool. And then my one friend was like, but you're not nasty. I was like, you're right, but it sounds cool. So I don't even know how to say it. But yeah, so that's where I can be found. You can email me at hejnastycoaching@gmail.com. I'd love to set up a call with you or talk about your fitness goals and help you out if need be. But yeah, and I also think that when you get a strong foundation, like in we're usually in our 20s, 30s, then that's going to stay with you through your 40s, 50s, and 60s, and just you'll always have that knowledge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kevin. This has been very informative and entertaining for those who just found out that I gained 20 pounds in pharmacy school. I hope you had fun. And I just want to remind everybody, you can follow us at Pharmacy Future Leaders on Instagram and Twitter, and send in your comments, send in your questions. Kevin, again, thank you so much for joining us. Hope to have you back on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Ashley. This was like out of left field, and I was really excited to be on my very first podcast. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I've had a blast.
Thank you.
The mission of the Pharmacy Future Leaders podcast is to support all pharmacy students by providing advice, direction, stories, and sharing with each other.
Be sure to use the hashtag Pharmacy Future Leaders on all social media. We thank you for listening to our podcast. Please send us an email if you're interested in being on the show. Send your message to pharmacyfutureleaders@gmail.com.
Just remember, never give up, stay positive, eat healthy, get your sleep, and know why you wanted to be a pharmacist from the beginning, to help others live healthier lives.
We are Pharmacy Future Leaders.